Yeah.
Yeah, we better light you up.
Okay, thanks. All right, I'll call the August 1st Utility Committee to order. We could get an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we need to get an approval of the last two meetings' notes. One of them's pretty short.
I'll move to approve the last two meetings' notes as presented.
You? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah. All right. These are Ashley and Eric, I guess, sewer audit.
For the sewer audit, not so much has been going on. The goal is right now is to try to just catch up on people who didn't respond to the letters. Once the field crews are able to going out door to door to these properties and trying to do dye test to confirm if these properties are connected. Once we do get all the confirmation or figure out what's going on, we will move forward just because we have over 50 properties who haven't responded. We do want to,
That's a lot more than normal, isn't it?
it was quite a bit for a non-response for a dye test. So we're just trying to get this caught up and then we'll move forward from there. So that way we're not having a whole bunch of backlog items.
Yeah. Good. Thanks. All right, the water audit.
Okay, so attached to the next page on your sheet is our water audit data. So we're starting to go back down for the value of non-revenue water and the infrastructure leakage index on that first page. If you look at the second page, you'll note that so the billed authorized consumption is the orange line at the bottom, and we had our non-revenue water, the gray bar is creeping up there, but it finally started going back down again. So we're back on track with that. And then the most interesting page, the last one, Tim, you can take a look and see that our water sales have been really similar to the previous years. So I don't know where GRT is sitting at, but at least for water sales, they're comparable to, the past 4 years. You'll notice the huge drop in non-revenue water, though, that correlated with the huge bump in sales. What's good, though, is we didn't have, we had a big increase in, for the last few months of total water produced, but despite our sales increasing by about 10 million gallons, our total water produced from water production actually decreased in that same period from the previous month. So that's really awesome. Something's going right, and it hopefully should continue on track with this, because these reductions in non-revenue water don't really include a lot of the repairs that are going to happen from the leak detection survey. So that's the next item. Marty and I and Ashley haven't been able to comb over extensively on the final deliverable for the leak detection analysis, but we did get it delivered, and so we'll get a spreadsheet put together to show the quantities of the leaks and when they're responded to. I know Marty's a little bit short-staffed right now, and so we'll see if if water distribution can handle the repairs by themselves, or if we need to look at possibly getting a contractor in to maybe help and augment in the repairs, depending on the total quantity that's there. But,
We have been able to hit a couple of bigger leaks, and that were on one of those deliverables, and take care of that. As far as the little service line leaks, that's where we're having a hard time because we're just so busy. And those ones are like .01 and .03 gallons is what those ones are reading. So those ones are a little bit smaller leaks, but we have hit the major ones that they found.
so starting next month, we'll have Marty present a table of the repairs so that we can see how that progress is going.
And Eric, just to, note that, April, we actually saw a dip, and, that's what you see here as well, right?
Uh-huh.
And then May started coming back up, and we still don't, we're lagging 2 months behind on gross receipts tax,
Yeah,
the way that it's reported, but this is consistent with what we see with lodger's tax.
okay,
Lodger's tax a month behind, gross receipts tax 2 months behind.
okay.
And cannabis is 3 months behind.
Of course.
So is that how you track fast food sales? All right, is there any questions about one last thing about the water audit. So Tim, we're gonna be bringing a contract to you for our third party to do, our, third party validation of our audits, which happens every 3 years. And so we'll be working with Kavanaugh and Associates out of, North Carolina. They've been, their company focuses on water audits. They don't do any other work but water audit. All right, Ashley, you want to give an update on the asset management?
So for the asset management, the CityWorks software, for some of the departments, we have had a successful launch of the app. Very good, or very positive feedback on the app versus the system they were using. A lot more user-friendly, and everybody seems to be liking it a lot more, so that's positive. I'm almost done on updating the different maps in CityWorks. That way, whenever they have their inbox, it's not just a work order number. It'll actually state the location of where that work order is occurring. We were not presented with this information whenever we first launched the system, and so that's why it wasn't there. Once we figured out how to implement it, we went ahead and started doing it. So I'm almost done with everybody and have maybe a couple more assets for the regional wastewater treatment plant, and we should be done. And then, once this is launched fully, we'll look at getting storeroom involved, which will be the tracking of the different parts out in the field.
All right.
Master planning and rate analysis.
Yeah.
We have just received our deliverables for the asset management component and the capital improvement planning. I've at least received the ones for sewer, water, and the regional wastewater treatment plant. And so we have internal meetings that hopefully will be scheduled tomorrow. Adam scheduled the sewer one with Molson Corbin to review with Katie and Jerry. I'm hoping that we can get the water one scheduled for Wednesday morning. I'm just waiting for some confirmations. We just got the water one here this afternoon. And then the regional wastewater treatment plant, I'm gonna be working with Isaac and David Denny, and we're meeting on Friday to review those. I really wanna reiterate that out of all of the sections we've reviewed, this is the first, mission critical. We have to review this meaningfully so that it can get into the initial foundation for the rate analysis. So a delay in review of this component will delay the whole project. So I really want to emphasize meaningfully look at that before our meetings that are happening this week, so you can bring comments. Ron, I haven't seen anything for solid waste, and it's not saying that it hasn't been submitted, but we should have a comparable meeting scheduled sometime this week to go over that with Jerry and other staff.
Eric, when you say, you know, what is your expectation as far as who's gonna attend that, to give you comments on that?
So I focused in on the department managers and directors, but I can extend that to the rest of you guys if you want to submit any
Well,
comments.
I don't think that we need to be involved with that. I think some of your operators should probably be sitting at the table as well. And, no disrespect to the managers or directors, but, the operators, probably know the equipment a lot of times better than anybody else.
So I'll leave that up to you guys to decide if you want other people. I always encourage everyone to discuss it with their operators before they come to the meeting where we come together. But that's a good point, Tim, to just reemphasize, invite any staff that you want to attend these meetings.
And Eric, we did do the capital improvement plan on the collection system also with the Sauter Miller last week. We went through our.
You mean for the water distribution?
No, yeah, I'm sorry, for water, water, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I got them mixed up.
So they might have just written down some of the stuff that you discussed, so if we could still try to follow up with a meeting this week, I think it'd be critical for all of us, with the water utility divided amongst two different departments, to get together and talk about it together at the same time. So along with the master planning, I've asked for all the entities to give an updated request for information, because a lot of the directors have been meeting individually with the planning firms, and so I've lost track of what information they need. So I've just asked for them to start fresh and update anything that they need. I think it's great that everyone's meeting with the group, but we just need to make sure that if RFI is answered from those meetings, that it gets reported to me so I know not to try to chase it down. And then the biggest thing is going to be the request for information from RAF TELUS, which does the rate analysis. So they've prepared a large request for information, a lot of which we've already provided to the other planning firms. And so RAF TELUS is working with them to get any information that we've already provided, and they'll give us a request for information that is explicitly new information. And so I will be hounding people for those answers, because RAF TELUS is the critical path to completing the project on time. So it's really important for us to respond to their request for informations right away. Does anyone have any questions about master planning?
But hopefully they can get you that information, since you guys did budgets not too long ago. Maybe they know what things cost.
Well, yeah, depending on how much prices change or keep changing all the time.
Yeah. All right, thanks. On planning the water storage tank planning memo.
Okay, I received all the cost proposal from Marty Howe, and I'm working on the task order as we speak. That's almost done, and I'm definitely gonna get it all finished and completed and everything, and then have it on the September council meeting. I was trying to get it on this month's, but didn't get all the information, on time. So we had a couple of things we really had to look at. One was the backwash tanks, because that was gonna have a big cost if we were gonna, do all the work on those tanks. And we had a meeting with Adam and myself and Terry and Marty and another guy from Sauter Miller, and it was a pretty good meeting. So I think we have a better way or another path to not utilize those tanks and probably save us a lot of money. And then we also we're gonna have a demolition plan in place, you know, on those tanks. You know, once we make sure everything's, you know, on the money, so. So that took a little bit of time, you know, trying to coordinate with everybody and trying to get that solved. But I think we're in the right direction on that one, so.
So Randy, what's tank specifically you're talking about?
The backwash tanks that are located, it's the east and the west backwash tank that sits up right across from Plant One on Main Street in Upper Canyon. It's almost right before you get to the end where the property changes to the natives.
One of the things that we brought up is, you know, either the rehab or replacement of those backwash tanks. And one of the things that I brought up to the engineers is during the 2008 flood, we actually turned that water back around and fed all of Upper Canyon and Black Forest off of the main tanks at Grindstone. So that's one of the things we're looking at, so we can try to eliminate those tanks altogether.
And then one of the most important things is, you know, fire protection. We didn't want to compromise that, so. They had brought up an idea of maybe putting in a little booster station and a emergency generator, but then Adam, you know, brought up this plan and kind of seems like the better one. So, because I don't know if anybody's ever been up there besides us, but it's hard to get back there, and it's, you know, especially in the winter, the roads are horrible. They're real narrow. It's kind of a mess. And then we have a lot of rock that comes down off of the mountain, and I don't know, years ago it punctured one of the tanks, so.
I think road is a generous term, Randy.
Well, we were trying to get the divers up there to do the inspection, and we had a hard time getting them up there. So.
So Randy, can you discuss the other tanks too that are in this first phase? Because I just want everyone to be, you know, prepared that, you know, Randy's gonna be bringing this task order for the engineering to the next council meeting, but, you know, we're talking about a potential construction project to rehab all these tanks that's gonna be about $1.5 million. And so it's really important for us to maintain tanks because, if we don't maintain them when we can do it, we have to replace them like the Country Club tank. And that replacement project was over $1 million just for one tank. And Randy's got, what, you have 12 or 13 tanks that you maintain?
Yeah, so, yeah, and so a little history on this, what we did is, in the sanitary survey, there was a couple significant deficiencies that were identified, and one of them was the vault over at the Alto tanks. So of course, what we did is we prioritized the most important tanks that related to the survey, and then we worked backwards from the most important to the least. And then what I also did is I provided all the inspections and reports, you know, from the divers. So I've had all of the tanks inspected in the last couple of years. I try to do that every 5 to 6 years. So we keep up on it pretty well, but Eric brought up a good point. If you don't maintain them and take care of them, then you have to replace them, and that is a pretty big cost, so. And then the other one we're looking at, and that's gonna be an interesting one, is the 1-million-gallon Little D tank. Because you can't just empty that one to rehab it. What I kinda did is put it on the engineers because they asked me how many tanks are you gonna need as a temporary basis? I said, well, that should be on you guys, you're the engineers. So, and they're gonna work on that, and, so hopefully we'll get everything squared away, but it's gonna be busy. I think it's divided up, Eric, into 3 years. We've got the first year, second year, and then I think the last.
Yeah, the last one is substantially less, so we'll have
Yeah.
potentially 2 years of over $1 million a year to do these restorations. So, we'll make sure to work with Judy on the budget side. But this is kind of a project that's been needed for the past couple years.
Plus, it's gonna be the inside of the tank and the outside. So I know some of these tanks aren't aesthetically pleasing, to look at, so especially, the little D tank, that's got a lot of visibility. So it's gonna make it look a lot better and, so should be a good project.
I don't know if it would ever work out, but a couple of these little systems around
Yeah,
have mentioned that maybe if you talk to them, they could have the need for the same kind of work, whether it was this or any, and save everybody some mobilization and
Sure.
travel time.
I mean, that's what I try to do, if it's possible to spin off on, okay, if Rubicon or Midco divers are gonna be in the area to do some other tanks, we try to spin off of that time frame, so then it does reduce the cost, so. I mean, that's something that we try to do, but it's, sometimes it's,
Well, some of those small operators are hard to run down. Who's doing it this week?
and that's kind of what we're doing on the repairs for the liner. I've almost got that all in place. It's been a interesting deal, but, they're working on the dam up near Chalma, so then they're gonna be in New Mexico, so, once we give them the PO, which should be within the next couple days, then they're gonna come down on the weekend and repair it, so. But since they're already in New Mexico, it reduced the cost for, the mobilization and stuff, so. It's kind of smart business, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had pretty much on the water storage tank.
Well, the next one's yours too.
Grindstone Dam conduit inspection. I finally got all the information and the cost proposal from Yane Associates on that one. I've already done the task order, and I'll send it to Eric for review, and then, to make sure everything's correct. And so that will be on the September council meeting also. Try to get that one on this month too, but everybody's so busy and it's hard to, the timing's gotta be right, but.
And so Tim, just so that you're aware of it, we're gonna be bringing a smaller task order or a small contract with Rubicon Divers. So they're gonna be doing the inspection as part of the working under Yane Associates for the actual conduit inspections. But there's some minor repairs that we need to do on the dam side, so underwater. And so we're gonna be able to save some money on mobilization by just contracting with the same scuba divers. So we'll have a small contract for you to sign in the next couple weeks.
And, so one thing I just wanted to mention is, with these last two items, that's pretty much the majority of the main items that were on the, dam inspection. The only other one is the Alto, spillway assessment, cause what they're saying is it's under designed on the spillway. So that's something else, that we're working on also. I think that's in the CIP also. So. And I guess I'll go on.
Spillway's under design, or it's they're designing it.
Well, yes, yeah, yes. So, I mean, they have it,
Both.
yeah, they're gonna have to do another assessment on it. A lot of the documentation and the reports were done, but, they're thinking it's under designed on the spillway, and that's one of the reasons we get a poor rating on the, Alto inspection. Once we get that taken care of, that should help out a lot.
And so we're in the middle of the final year of our contract with Yane Associates. So that project being a low priority to the Dam Safety Bureau, we'll save that for the next issuance of a contract for a dam engineer.
Yeah. So, and then James and I had spoke, about a week and a half ago about that item. And the other things that, I'm working with Joe Kalabowski on the roundtable talks too. He said once he gets the, emergency manager in place and gets her on the ground, then, we're gonna schedule some meetings and try to get that all figured out, so. That's another one of the pending items. That will solve a lot of the stuff from OSE.
They'll come up with a new one.
Yeah. One door shuts and then more open. The Grindstone Dam emergency spillway and surface repairs. One thing I wanted to bring up about that is, in the beginning, they wanted the conduit inspection done first, but in the last inspection, James switched that around because of the deterioration of the concrete on the surface of the dam. So we shifted that one around, and that one is on this month's council meeting. So that one's all ready to go.
What are you gonna have to do on that?
Well, what they're gonna do is, it's kind of broken down into 7 phases or 7 components, you know, with their engineering or their construction management. They're gonna do an assessment basically on it. And we've had like 3 meetings on site and looked at it. So then they're gonna put a game plan together. I think it'll go out for an IFB probably, once we determine the process or all of it. But they're gonna do that, and then they'll come in and they'll do the assessment of the emergency spillway also. And then they'll check it for drummy concrete, I believe it is. And then they'll do an inspection on that, they'll do
So,
some minor
so
repairs.
just so everyone's aware, that inspection is destructive, so I think they basically whip chains against the concrete and then it breaks off anything that's loose. So, you know, the surface is gonna be kind of beat up, but then we'll know which sections need to be repaired. And so the IFB should closely follow the inspection and we'll know how much of the spillway we need to repair.
Are you gonna have to lower the water level at all?
No.
No, okay.
Does that involve any core samples or anything like that?
It might.
No,
I mean, I don't know if they'll take some samples on the top, but probably not on the spillway.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a deep core if there was one. This is, I mean, it's structure, it's kind of superficial, the repairs. So it's just about getting that surface concrete that, you know, after 40+ years is starting to deteriorate, and it's just regenerating that surface so we can protect the deeper concrete.
And it's kind of funny too, because if you do walk on the walkway or on the top of the dam, in the beginning, it's kind of all deteriorated, and especially where the water flows, and you can see where it ponds also. But then when it flows and goes over the backside of it, that's all kind of eaten away. And it could be a couple issues on the concrete. Maybe it was port when it was cooler temperatures on, you know, that's one of the things. Or the other thing is it could be just bad concrete, you know. But then you move on further, and then it gets real good. Concrete's solid, the walkway is decent, and then at the end, it gets worse. So I think what they'll probably plan on doing is taking some of it off, you know, removing so much of it, and then from there, I don't know, recoating it or doing something with it.
Do they put any kind of a sealer on that
That's
concrete?
something we have talked about, but I'm not sure, you know, that'll probably be with the assessment. And I know
It
Chuck's,
absorbs water and then it freezes, so.
yeah, and we thought originally maybe the areas that the water was actually ponding is where we were having some of the biggest issues, but I don't know. It'll be a good little project for sure, so. Any other questions on that one? Those damn projects.
Eric, do you know about the fine
Yeah,
screens?
so Isaac is doing another follow-up meeting on site on Wednesday with folks from Moles and Corbin to go over some of the different options. You know, we don't know exactly how it's going, but I got a feeling that we're gonna go towards rehabilitation of the existing fine screens and redoing all the inside components, just because it's gonna be so expensive to redo the foundation and demo the building out and do all these repairs. But that's why we're doing the memo. We'll figure out the best solution. I just think it's gonna go to the rehab side.
So is that removing the screens and then chipping them off, or is that done locally or in the plant?
So the screens would, since the manufacturer would know the components on the inside, basically we'd replace the whole inside of the screens. And then we'd take apart a fine screen at a time, and I think that they would, you know, clean it, like reseal the metal and make sure everything's working right. Put all new seals on all the equipment. So I think a lot of it would be done right there on site. But again, that's what the memo's for. I'm not sure.
I thought Isaac wanted to put a finer screen in front of what we had. Is that?
So we can we can have a finer screen. It's just we're gonna look at,
Okay.
there's a potential to rehabilitate what's there with a finer screen.
All right, on engineering the Alto Reservoir improvements.
Give me Ponzone.
Alright, so for the Alto Reservoir improvements, they did start doing the survey work last week. And we are still on track to have a proposed 90% design on August 31st. With the 100% construction documents potentially September 15th. Sorry. We are gonna have to end up reaching out to Brewers Gas Station to discuss any potential easements through the property, so we will be reaching out to them, for that water line. And we are gonna have to up the size of the water line to an 8-inch, in order to meet the water and the pressure demands for the winter park. And that will.
That's just crossing the road right there on Ski Run
Yeah,
Road though, correct?
Yeah, that's where I was going to. We'll just be punching under the road, Ski Run Road, so we won't be going on the major highway. Oh, okay. So we also have weekly meetings, every Tuesday morning with the engineer, just because of all the projects, they want to make sure we're up to date with the fast track. And, we are looking at possibly doing a CES contract with AUI, depending on the engineer's recommendation on the Alto Reservoir improvements. That way it's ready to go as soon as we got the 100% design.
And part of that justification is, you know, one, AUI is a CES vendor, but then two, they'll be here for the hazard mitigation project for the sewer line. So we might have some, you know, good staff here to also work on that same project. And we might have, you know, Catherine seems like she's a pretty good project manager so far. And so hopefully she can help with this project too at the same time.
Okay, Two Rivers Restoration. Eric.
So I'm gonna change the title of this project because we're morphing the project into a more comprehensive solution in the river. So it's just gonna be the Rio Ruidoso Restoration Project. And so Chris Phillips, the engineer, and I are putting the final touches on a river stewardship program, grant application for about $1.2 million from the state. And then we're gonna look at leveraging that for some FEMA funds that we'll be eligible for. So that's we'll use that 1.2 as a 25% match for, you know, a $4.5 million total project. So I think we got a pretty good chance to get this match component, and I think we'll be really competitive with the upcoming hazard mitigation funds that are coming because of all the fires in the state. And, you you know, our meeting with the state, the village meets, I think, the top three of their prioritization for funding, out of the 5 or 6 that they've selected. So we've got a pretty good chance of, I think, getting some funding from the state.
Okay, the Upper Canyon surface diversion.
For the Upper Canyon surface diversion, we're supposed to receive our 90% design on August 31st. We are requesting a good engineer's estimate in order to apply for the Water Trust Board funding. That's coming up here soon. During this time, we are also going to ask the Army Corps we're going to apply for an Army Corps permit so we can get their recommendations. That way, everything is put into the 100% design. That is
Will it cost more than that? Whatever, these days.
who knows.
Okay, Pine Cliff, street water and sewer.
So the engineering's complete on Cliff, and, got it on the shelf.
Is that gonna be a CDBG grant or project? Gotta get some more of that free money. And the Eagle Creek well field.
For the Eagle Creek well field, I did reach out to Casey, he's our engineer for the project on Friday, just to kind of get an update on what's going on. So we are still planning on advertising in August. One thing that is holding them up on, giving us the 100% design though, before we can advertise, is the construction program comments. So he is reaching out to them, trying to see what's going on and trying to, kind of fast-pace the construction program comments so we can start advertising here soon.
Okay, hazard mitigation and stabilization on the sewer line.
So EUI has been, hired, or, bid out, or they did bid the job out. EUI is the bidder on that job. We did, give them the contract to sign last Friday. Did they end up signing that, Tim? Do you remember?
Once they sign it, we gave notice to proceed this morning.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, we did give them notice to proceed this morning, so, their first task is, to start the surveys and, some public outreach, and then they'll go into, cutting some trees, and then go into the river and start doing the bank stabilization.
Last part.
Yeah, last part, hope we can get through it.
Yeah.
And this part of the job, I think it was, 520 days, correct, Tim? On this, of construction on this piece. So it's gonna be a long one, but hopefully we can get through it.
Yeah. Okay, the stormwater management at Horton.
So we had some complications that we're resolving that are associated with the radio tower that was installed in the back. The engineer had set for the radio tower said that the footers were gonna be at ground level. But when they put in the tower, there wasn't an established ground level. And so we redesigned the back drainage based off of what White Sands had, in my opinion, given us as the ground level. But the footers are about a foot deeper than what everyone assumed ground level was gonna be. And you can't just put concrete up against the tower. So, there was 2 options that were being looked at that, Zeke was exploring. One was to put in basically a round pipe around the feet of the tower with drain pipes out. Or since the whole area is demoed out and there's no concrete and everything, we're gonna look at regrading that drainage a little bit lower so that we can get drainage away from the tower. So Chris Phillips is reworking that change, today. And so we should hopefully have the changes to White Sands here shortly. So minor hurdle that I think we'll get by, but we'll have to take out a little bit more material on that backside of the property. Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Did they poured the foundation already, the footings?
Yeah, so the tower is all installed.
Okay.
So it's been installed for a while.
So they just did that without having grade established?
Correct. So the tower is safe.
Oversight.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to reiterate that the tower is completely safe. It's just the two projects weren't married together as well as it should have been.
Yeah.
But other than that, the stormwater is, do we have the process established for the phase two? Because we haven't established it, so that's what we're waiting for is the schedule. We were hoping to meet this summer with the school district to establish the schedule, but I guess the phase two is kind of delaying the process. So we're on standby for the stormwater.
Just don't flood out the football game, you'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Can have the mud bowl.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if you guys saw the Lady Warriors softball field, but they would have had a fun time playing in the mud there.
You gonna blame that on the dam too?
okay, lift stations and force mains.
So with the lift stations and force mains, we're waiting on coordination between Bigsby Electric and P&M. They still need to set the pole up at Circle Lift Station and then tie in the Sleepy Hollow Lift Station. But Bigsby only wants to mobilize one time, so they're trying to coordinate those efforts together. And then working with Moles and Corbin on the relocation of the control panel at Circle Lift Station and some facade for that.
Bring out them doe-eyed girls again.
The imaginary shop building isn't as imaginary
It's not
now.
imaginary anymore. I was actually in there today and all the sheetrock's hung. They've already got it. They're actually taping texturing as we speak right now. We picked out the texture this morning, and man, that it's actually come together. It looks like a building now, inside and out.
Oh,
So
you got garage doors on it?
garage doors are on, windows are in, sheetrock's hung, HVAC's in.
Great.
So Ryan Roper's actually on site doing some site grading and getting ready to hook the utilities to it. Just in time for Marty to move in.
The Sanchez Utility Building.
The Sanchez Utility Building.
All right, the Eagle Creek and Gavilan well field design and planning there.
So we had we gave the contractor an additional 3 weeks of work, because we wanted to spend down our grants so that we have eligibility for the Water Trust Board for the Upper Canyon surface diversion. So I was happy to give them some additional contract days to remain that eligibility. So they finished installing the well, the pitless adapters. They finished the site grading, the retaining walls. What's left is the electrical work. So the conduits were all run, but they didn't want to run any electrical work until there was a panel to install into. They have some minor wellhead work, and then the fences. So electrical and fences and just, a little bit of concrete and touch-up work. And that's all hinging on the VFD chipset, which should be here in September. So the project's on hold again until September.
All right. Close out. This is a good one. Treatment plant.
Okay. Everything's pretty much done on the project. And Katie's working on, we had a few issues on the dates for the substantial completion. So I worked with Chris on that. We got the problem solved. And then so Katie's she needed that for the warranty periods and, so she could get that all documented and she's working on the closeout documents and hopefully I can try to have that on the next council meeting also. And, we have been working on, the open house. We're looking at the August 19th, which is on a Friday. We really haven't set a time yet, but it's gonna either somewhere, probably be 9 or 10 in the morning. And then go for a few hours or as needed, so. And, I'll work with Chris on it a little bit and Katie and then I've been talking to Eric about it, about the people that we need to invite to make sure we get all the right parties. Then I know we'll have the Molson Corbin will be there, Smithco and Ultraman Electric. They'll be on site also. We plan on doing a backwash demonstration, it's fully automated. And then, Tim brought up a good point about, having, some kind of information or something on the flow on, how it comes into the plant, via either Eagle Creek or the lake or, so I've got some pretty good diagrams I was thinking about maybe blowing up and that shows all the stream flows and stuff. And then, the other thing I'm working on is some before and after pictures. And I think that kind of sells it by itself, what it looked like, before the project started and then afterwards, or the final product, so. I'm working on that also. So that'll be good to get that one buried. That's been a tough project. But we had a lot of hurdles and a lot of things to figure out, but I think, the end results are pretty good. That SCADA system it's pretty complex. You gotta hear the calls that come in. You kinda need somebody to decipher it. So, but yeah, the other nice thing Terry did last week is, we've got, System MD, they set us up, well, I'm already set up on a Connect where I can connect into my computer from my laptop. We have it set up where we can connect into the SCADA, from our laptop so that, and it blows it, it's real nice and big, so. The other one on the phone is real small and it's real hard to work with. Cause we have full operating ability, we can run the plant with our phone, so,
If you can read it.
yeah. So this way it makes it a little bit easier,
So you guys are online with it now,
yes,
besides the phone?
yep. And it's pretty helpful, I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we can get in, we can rotate pumps, we can shut down filters, we can, of course, we can do that at Plant 4 also, but this one's a little bit more complex, so.
You just need your security online now.
Yeah, and I mean, we're working on it. We've got a pretty good game plan. I already got the fence around Plant 3. The gate is coming in. I'm working with Solomon now. We got the PO to him today, and we'll get the automatic gate set up, and then we're gonna have cameras inside, and we've got a few things to.
I meant your online security.
Oh yeah, we got that too.
Good.
Yeah. And I still gotta finish, I did a diagram of everything that comes in on the security part of it, so I just need to finish that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive there. You got John, you gotta go out there, take a look.
It's pretty involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, just seeing from the process on them doing the backwash, it was a real cumbersome process. They had to all run around, each one had to do this and that. Now you push a button.
Yeah,
Then you
well,
can
and
follow
your
it.
phone or online control saves a bunch of trips out
All
there.
it does. I mean, I've had issues at Plant 4 in the middle of the night, I can shut the filter off and, you know,
Yeah.
or I can start it, so. Does cut back on some of the overtime, you know, so.
Good.
Questions on that?
No?
Okay,
Is Town and Country really in closeout now?
it's closed out.
Cool. Yeah, I was up there the other day.
I was actually up there too, and one of the things I'll bring up in here is, you know, I talked to Ed from General Hydronics and Joe Denley from Love's Paving, and there's a couple little warranty items that I'm seeing some drainage issues. So we're supposed to meet this week and kind of look at those to see what we can get done with that. But other than that, like I said, that project has closed out and we're just on warranty now.
Yeah, Adam?
Are you gonna be the first new one to hook up? Didn't you buy a lot?
No,
I thought you did.
no, what's his name was trying to sell a lot up there, but I hadn't seen him around in a while.
Jesse can hook up. He
Yeah,
lives
Jesse can
there.
hook up now.
Hey, Adam?
Lindsay hasn't been around up there?
I haven't seen him at all.
When do you want to send out the letters for all those properties? I know a couple have connected, but,
We can probably go ahead and send him out. No,
okay, so,
accepted and stuff.
if you or Marty can get with me and we can make a list of the properties so we can get those letters out.
you got it.
Okay.
And then the other one, Paradise Canyon, and the whole road guardrail replacement is also closed out. Been to council, we accepted the project. So there's two down and about 100 to go.
Now you just need to pave it.
Yeah, well, it's coming. Cutler's down Warrior now, and their next mob is to Paradise Canyon to go to pave it.
They milled that old Warrior Drive today, quick.
Yep, and they paved it. They're paving too. They've
Short,
It's gonna go fast.
the one in Gavlin didn't go fast.
No.
those poor guys. They ran into all kinds of flooding issues on it.
Yeah.
Know how to make it rain.
That's for sure.
Yeah, just start paving.
Paving. Well, we held them up because of the fire and then put them right in the rain.
Fire, flood.
Yeah. Okay, the dam cleaning project.
Project's done. The only thing that Gresh is working on right now is the final plans and specs that goes to OSC Dam Safety Bureau. And, yeah, we ran it through council and everything else pretty much done. I think all the final payments, I believe, is completed, so we'll do a follow-up with, this, Beartooth.
Good.
Restoration. So restoration is ready for closeout. We're waiting for the final docs from the engineer. All the construction's done. All the punch list items have been complete. So we're ready to go with that one. So that's number one phase down. We'll go, hopefully
Finally.
we can close the lift stations out and then go into the third phase.
There you go. Okay, one's on hold, your underground storage.
So we can talk about any of these that you want, John. But otherwise, there's no progress.
Okay, so they're just all on hold here.
I just didn't want to lose the documentation, just so that people know that there's some projects that we're waiting for some other issues to resolve before we pick them back up.
And that Wingfield Park, in Midtown drainage, that's kind of part of the master plan, correct, Eric? For Wingfield?
Yeah, and, you know, trying to resolve funding for it, so.
Gotcha. And with that, just, we can bring it up, I guess, with that is the annex building demo and the water shop building demo. Of course, the water shop's been demoed, complete. The annex has been taken down all the way. Contractor has demobilized. And we're actually, working to fill that, where the annex was in, when the engineer bid it, or when the contractor bid it, when he actually got to work, those footings were, 6-7 feet deep. So he, we're gonna have to bring in some fill to do that, but it actually makes it worthwhile for us, because we're gonna actually try to level some of that out to make it better for the parking lot and stuff like that, and then up above also.
Are you gonna have to do anything for draining that spring under there, or?
That's kind of what we're working on right now. The annex part of it isn't too bad. It's not real soupy, you know, the footings he pulled out and filled in, we were good with. You know, it's not really down to the water table, so we're actually pretty good on that part there.
Is those old hoses?
Huh?
I think they found the spring.
Yeah, we found the spring up above.
Oh, okay.
I sunk the blade in it.
Yeah, because the holding cells down there used to be swimming pools sometimes.
But they're actually good. I mean, they're not rising or anything. So it's all filled in. We've ran the sheep's foot over it, I don't know how many times, getting compactions on it and stuff. So
Good.
the annex part of it's really good.
Good deal. All right, does anybody have anything else?
11:14.
Yeah, we can bring up 1114 Meacham, the housing project. Actually, the
That was
contractor.
done today.
Huh?
Oh, that was done today.
It's done? No, the contractor mobilized today. Renegade Construction is the subcontractor for White Sands. They're the ones that are actually gonna put the utilities in. We did take over the first manhole bases and pipe today. They did move the fence on the jogging trail and put the detours up. And they were staking today. I don't know how far they got with the rain. Marty said he took some other stuff up there and they had already, I guess, left because it was raining or something, but
We got rained out.
yeah, they got rained out. But they did mobilize today and we're moving forward with that one pretty quick.
Do they have a completion target?
September.
Tim said, yeah. Tim said September 1st.
There you go. No more rain days.
Yeah. No, we're pushing them and they're pushing along as fast as,
The schedule actually shows September 4th.
there you go.
And the housing is on the ground somewhere?
No, we're to notify the company 5 weeks prior to, so they've been notified.
Okay,
Yeah, they'll start construction of them now.
good.
They don't want to keep them in storage.
So have you got them all rented?
They have a list.
I'm sure.
We did have an on-site meeting this morning and with the P&M and then their electrician and the contractor. So everybody's kind of working together to get that one done.
Are you going to have individual utilities for each site?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Water, sewer, and electric.
These are all electric?
Yeah.
All right, does anybody have anything else? Other than, I guess, Karen doesn't think we'll meet on Labor Day, so do I do it the following Monday?
Sure can.
Well,
Labor Day.
the 12th or something?
Can't believe it's almost Labor Day already.
August, September?
Yeah.
Memorial Day just passed.
Yeah, that's a conference that week, Monday.
Oh. Did you give her the cash? Oh,
They already sent me a calendar on it.
just bring it tomorrow.
So is that next Monday, the 12th, though?
Yeah,
The second Monday?
second Monday be the 12th, yeah.
So it's Matt.
Time,
He's hiding
let's
some money.
see. I got a dentist appointment at 4:30.
We'll have to get that.
I just have to
Oh,
leave
it's
early.
only 4. You have plenty of time after that. We'll get you out.
I'm surprised Marty showed up today. He said if you won the lottery, you wouldn't be here, so I don't know if he's here.
Yeah.
He didn't win it. He said, here's my keys if I win the lottery.
I guess the 12th, you want to do that? All right, well, if nobody else has anything, the meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, John, you were in a great meeting.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
always good to see you, Tom.